Mike's Daily Podcast
1821 today. Episode 1018-23,000.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
I just came up with a new number. 1921. 1921. I'm Mike Matthews, and this is fun. I've never used this part of Cafe Anyway before, so this will be exciting. And you're the one to hear it, because it's Mike's Daily Podcast, and you should fear it. Yesterday, I don't know what I did, because I got up early and then took a nap, so...
Mike's Daily Podcast.
Naps just chop your day in half, don't they? And then you don't realize what happened earlier in the day.
Mike's
Was that yesterday?
Daily
Or 10 days ago?
Podcast.
So many questions to ask.
Yeah!
Here's what I would like to tell you is the podcast picture already, because I know that's what you come here to watch, read, listen to, whatever the verb is. You come to Mike's Daily Podcast to listen to this show, and 6 months ago, I was in Benita. That's why I've been wanting to go back there lately. I've been having this Benita fix lately. And there's this cool house that has this, what is it? It's like a geodesic dome on it. And let's see, I went there 6 months ago. I once talked to the lady that owned this house with the geodesic dome. And geodesic domes are those things that are like either made out of a continuous shape that creates a sphere. Think of that Epcot place, where I hear they're changing Epcot like crazy these days. They're going to take out a bunch of the early Epcot rides, because Epcot opened in the 80s, and there was all these very educational. They wanted to be educational and fun at the same time. So they came up with rides like, let's find out all about communication over the years and history. Let's talk about how gas is made.
And here's today's podcast picture.
And we'll have Ellen DeGeneres host it. And Bill Nye the Science Guy. Oh, this phone fell down at Cafe Anyway. But that's okay, because Epcot is changing. And back to geodesic domes. I don't think they're gonna get rid of the geodesic dome, but that's a picture of it at MikesDailyPodcast.com in Benicia, which I have been just wanting to. I don't know what it is that place lures me back. For my girlfriend, it's Mount Shasta. For me, it's Benicia. Isn't that weird? But that Basil could tell you all about how sometimes I wish I could go back to Huntsville, Alabama, in northern Alabama, a place he's never been to. Do you know any influencers? Basil's an influencer. So these are these people that do a podcast or do a video cast that they talk to the camera or the microphone and go, hey, here's something I discovered. It's this new cream for your face. It's usually, I think the ones that are the most successful are the makeup ones, where you have some woman who's got the nice lighting on her face and she's looking right into the camera, and they got the lights on her eyes so that the eyes totally are they pop. They don't pop out of her head, but they pop. And so she goes, oh, and you should try this makeup. And so they've discovered that these people that get a lot of followers, which, by the way, if you have a YouTube channel and you ever say to me, subscribe to your channel, I'll get so mad. I will absolutely not subscribe to your channel, is what I'll do. I'll probably still watch your video, but I will not subscribe. And the influencers are the people that get money from sponsors, and now this is a big industry. Well, it's been a big industry for a while. You probably know, possibly, someone who is a really good video game player. And perhaps they got on Twitch or one of those channels where people get to watch you play video games, and they made a lot of money doing that. Or, since they're such good players, they get points so well, they will get points for other players and get paid really well. It's a whole weird part of... That's when I realized society took a turn. and I was probably no longer... It was almost like I was outside of the fishbowl, watching as it all unfolded, going, wait, what? Have they ever even thought of that concept in sci-fi movies? Did H.G. Wells think that was going to happen? So, influencers for YouTube, I was contacted by someone who said, would you like to be an influencer? And I think it was a total sham. It was one of those, it was basically a junk email. I clicked spam on it so fast. What, did I just miss out on several $1,000s because I'm an influencer? Yeah, right. I am someone with a very shiny head, so maybe perhaps you could talk about if you have a shiny head, if your head could be used as a lighthouse beacon, we would like to use you for YouTube. Now, I am sometimes very curmudgeonly on this show, but how else do you discuss issues? How else do you discuss opinions and thoughts? Just because I'm 50 doesn't automatically mean anything that pops out of my mouth is curmudgeonly, even though that is a wonderful word. And but people have points of view, and that we're going to say things on things like Mike's Daily Podcast. By the way, engineers like redundancy. This is something someone told me. If any engineers are listening, 336mm daily. 3 plus 3 equals 6. As in Mike Matthews. Daily as in what this podcast has been for, oh my gosh, for almost, entire week. I think we've gone just about 5 days. Yeah, because Friday. We did the first one on Friday. So, wow, 5 days in a row. Look at that. Yeah, so I guess it's because engineers, if you want a really solid system, I don't know, like let's say you're building the space shuttle again, and you want redundancy because you don't want it to blow up. As we go outside a cafe anyway, we're bringing Mike's Daily Podcast somewhere in Podcastro Valley Mont. I guess you do want redundancy. And maybe I'm being redundant saying that. I had a Go West night the other night. Go West sang, I am the king of wishful thinking, which, by the way, if you've never seen that video, watch first the video that Paul Rudd and Jimmy Fallon did, where they completely copied, like almost frame by frame for frame, the Go West video, King of Wishful Thinking, and then go watch the King of Wishful Thinking video, and you'll laugh with all the acid wash jeans and the nice pressed white collared shirts and the mullets. It's like an early 90s video. I think it came out in 1990. Whenever, not Pretty in Pink, but Pretty Woman came out with Julia Roberts, because that's what the song was from. So Go West sang that song, had a big hit with it, had a big hit with Faithful. Then they did a cover of that, I just wanted you to know, got a thing for you, and I won't let go. But they did some of the cheesiest, funniest, weirdest 80s videos, just 80s all the way. They first got started in the 70s, but they started having hits in the mid-80s with Call Me and We Close Our Eyes, Don't Look Down Now, and Go West. So I had this Go West, I guess, craze that I was watching a bunch of Go West videos. And I met Sebastian Gorka last week, very staunch conservative, very big supporter of Trump. And I told him, because I knew he was a big 80s fan. And I go, do you know Go West? And he goes, oh, I love Go West. Go West is a great group. The lead singer is bald now. I'm like, yeah. Just because you're one of those guys, Sebastian, that gets to keep all his hair. But yeah, the lead singer still sounds amazing, and I think he tours with the lead singer of Spandau Ballet. And they when they start doing old Motown classics, it's pretty cool, because they're both British, and they just add this whole other layer to Motown. It's a neat way of approaching it. So, just wanted to share that with you outside a cafe anyway. We're bringing Mike's Daily Podcast somewhere in Podcastro Valley Mont, the last place on earth. Look who's here.
Hello, Mike Matthews. It's Chely Shoehart, gift shop supervisor. You were in a different room at cafe anyway today. I didn't recognize you.
Uh-huh. Look who else is here. Hello, Mike. This is Floyd the Floorman. And this is John Deere, the engineer. Yes, Mike, I didn't recognize you. You recognize me. I have the shiny head. You just didn't know I was in that. I could go into different parts of Cafe anyway. But I did, and now I'm outside here, and the show's done. Next show, it's going to be... By the way, I used this microphone ages ago for Mike's Daily Podcast, and I remember it was so bad, the quality, I had to go into post. This is for all you audio nerds. I had to go into post and try every possible equalization thing I could do to make it sound halfway decent. And yesterday's show, you probably noticed that the audio was really bad. It was kind of scratchy. And that's because there is this odd thing happening with the computer we were using yesterday in that one room of Cafe anyway. And now we're not in that room. We're in a different one. And we'll be back. Maybe we'll be back here again someday, but not anytime soon. So I hope you enjoyed it. And you save this in the vaults in the Smithsonian. Next show, it'll be the wonderful Benita, the Disgruntled Fiddle Player, and the Brewmaster. Thank you for listening.
Mike's Daily Podcast is written and produced and performed by Mike Matthews. His podcast is super easy to find. Download or listen to his show and read his blog at MikesDailyPodcast.com. Email Mike now at MikesDailyPodcast@gmail.com. See you tomorrow. Bye!